So a sense tonight of beginning again. It was the biggest surprise for me last year of doing this 3-month retreat was how much the people who came for less than the full 3 months energized, were mutually energized. They provided a fresh start for everyone here, and also were drawn into the deep field of stillness that's been created by the people already here. Today, one of the Boundless Refuge teammates said, please send me a picture of this year's altar for a newsletter. So I took a picture and sent it, and I was looking at the picture and appreciating how actually the light was a little off, so you actually saw what was through the window better than you saw what was on the altar, forest and the ocean. But you still see sort of around the edges, you see sort of a little bit of color and shapes of flowers and light and crystals and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And at first I thought, oh no, you can't see the altar so well. And then I thought, oh, this is great. It's like mental noting. It's like the whole of Buddhism. It's how it should be. It's just really this portal to reality. Portal to intimacy with the way things are, the way things come to be for you, for each of us in any moment in direct experience. It's very simple. So I'm not talking about some special way things are. This way things are. This way things is. And dukkha, I think, is really just not really appreciating our life. I have to be careful with that word appreciation. I don't mean a sort of sentimental appreciation, or even a conditioned appreciation, or even a feeling. It can be a feeling, but I don't even mean a feeling. I mean really settling down in or on any moment in a way in which We're not trying to get rid of, we're not trying to get anything, we're not trying to get rid of anything. We're just here, just this. Just this. So simple. And when we do that, we really get the message. We get the message for ourselves. Not a Dharma talk, not a statue of the Buddha, not what all these things are trying to point to. It's fine. They're just trying to point to this capacity that you have, though, for being here. And then getting the message from the inside. That just to be alive is enough. And when you get that message, it actually stops the whole cycle of becoming and wanting, and I want to make myself into anything, including a good meditator or going to nirvana, whatever we imagine that is. It reveals nirvana right here and now. It's nothing in and of itself. You know, what do we imagine nirvana is going to be? Is it a jewel that we're going to find? Or is it one of these metaphors? Might be interesting to just see what in the back of our mind is lurking in the back of our mind about the goal of this path. Or is it even that this suffering will stop, that this life will stop, a kind of annihilationism, or a kind of greed for pleasant states? It's actually all just samsara, taking things personally, not seeing clearly. So we practice seeing clearly, cut through all of that again and again. Just cutting it, just like we chant at the end of this talk. Delusions are endless, I vow to cut them. I chose that translation. It's not the usual translation, which is I vow to end them. Because I vow to end them is actually a less accurate translation, apparently, than I vow to cut them. From the, and I like I vow to cut them. You can cut them even while they're there. You cut them. You don't have to kill your delusion. You just have to transcend it. Or see it clearly. And let go of it. It's very natural, easy, really very easy practice. I was listening to a interview with a wonderful teacher, Narayan, who's a wonderful insight meditation, and also insight meditation teacher who also studied a lot of Zen practice, which is similar to my background. And anyway, she's written a book recently, and I can't remember the phrase now, she coined some phrase, or something like the secret life of meditators, which I love. She said she really has come to find that like a lot of teachers and accomplished practitioners, they have this secret life that's different than what they tell people to do. It's a little bit different than, they give these really clear instructions, like note everything or something. But when she thinks, she has this hunch that a lot of them have this secret life of meditators, and what's really working for them, she didn't get into it so much, but I just loved that, because there's really there's a way in which this practice can be very easy and simple. And we can really derive all this huge power from that, really, because we're tapping into a different power than self-power. It's a power that comes from letting go of the self. And then we get fed by these other energies of compassion and wisdom. It doesn't mean self goes away. We still have self, and we can still use the self. Like, come on, North. Let's get out of bed. Let's go. Or come on, let's give a Dharma talk, North. That's fine, but you illuminate that activity. So you're not abiding in that activity. That's the main point, the fundamental point for freedom. So it may be simple and easy when you really find this balance point. There's a lot of ways, of course, we can not be at that balance point, and that's our suffering in 100,000 million ways. So we come to a place like this. Well, maybe we are already accomplished bodhisattvas, and we come to this place actually just pretending, sort of. Like it was a little bit of a nice gift, a little joke and a little gift to me to come here and kind of pretend to be trying to get something, but really coursing in awakening and actually just offering your practice in the form of joining the practice here. Maybe that's maybe that's what you were doing. That'd be nice. Nice, we're just making a little demonstration of practice together as a kind of an offering. But not trying to get anything out of it. But if you are looking for peace, Ajahn Chah said, looking for peace is like looking for a turtle with a mustache. It's the same point. I'm looking for nirvana. I'm looking for a turtle with a mustache. Now that I say that, I kind of would like to find a turtle with a mustache. I could probably make one. Just like you can make a semblance of peace, an appearance of peace. Just like the Buddha statue on the altar is it's an appearance of peace. It's a hunk of rock. And not a particularly trustworthy chunk of rock. At least on the Kuan Yin, they said it was brass, but the hand broke off in the shipping. I thought, this is not brass. This is like some sort of reinforced plastic, or I don't know what. But anyway, we glue it back on, and it looks normal now. But it's a semblance of compassion in Kuan Yin's case, a semblance of peace in Buddha's case. Even this Buddhist story, wonderful story. I love the Buddhist story, you know. I had a great realization today, this morning, in my stupor at whatever time we get up. I don't want to think about it. I want to watch that documentary again with the Buddha. It's with the nice music. What was that music? I was thinking, what is that music? Low quality meditation. But anyway, I love the Buddha's story. That's fine. The appearance of myself loves the Buddha's story. And it's nice to, tell, maybe that'll help me to tell the Buddha's story also in an even nicer way than I have before. And we'll enjoy that, perhaps. Or we won't. But we probably will. Because you have such limited entertainment. And you're full of honey now at this hour. So my point is that this semblance of peace, any appearance of peace, even a feeling of peace, it's fine. It's what it is. But it's not the ending of craving. It's not the realization of nirvana. And it's not that either. The place that we're trying to locate here is just in the settling down, the letting go of any appearance. And learning that there's a place we can rest that does not depend on those appearances. And when we find that place, we relate to appearances in a much better way. We relate, in other words, to the stories that run through our mind and heart and body and relationships and everything in a much better way. We realize our activity. And we turn all obstacles, all the things we thought, people usually think are obstacles, we turn them into the path. They're spontaneously transformed into the path. Everything. When that starts happening, you are it's like a big relief for you and probably everybody else. When that hasn't happened yet, we come into practice and we want to find peace. That's a pretty good desire. If you're going to have a desire, that's probably the best one to have. But it's still a desire. It's still a contortion of awareness instead of openness. So then we really come in like that aspiration rubber hits the road here on retreat, and then this training every day. Can you just be aware, just be clearly aware, clearly observe what is here now, and don't cling if possible. Just be aware and don't cling. And then because it's retreat, we go down into this green dragon's cave, and things kind of get wild in one way or another, including the wilderness of boredom, for some people, the wilderness of all kinds of things. Grief. Strange sensations. Deep desires, deep frustrations, confusion, excitement, and on and on. The green dragon's cave of the mind, which we're distracting ourselves much less from here than usually life is. So that's kind of the bitter part, or the difficult part. And then we see, hopefully, if we see and engage with how are we relating to this? Sometimes these ways of grasping are quite unconscious, because we're so in the story, or so seduced by the story. And we've taken it personally, so it is our world. It's like it fills our whole. We don't have another, and we don't know it. We don't know where there's dry land in the midst of this. So it's only natural in that moment, to really feel and imagine and believe and operate under the notion that I need to become something other than this obstacle, or including I need to become by keeping this good thing going. You just don't see, you don't discern the escape. You don't see the downside. You see this teaching of the Buddha, the gratification, the danger or the downside, and the escape. You want to actually see it all in each moment. Sure, the gratification. Down there, drinking tea and looking at the sunset, or the sun going down. It's very gratifying in a certain way. But then, have that understanding there also. Well, the downside of this is just sensuality. It's a conditioned experience. I'm not thinking that. I'm actually, awareness is helping me understand that in the moment, just intuitively. And then the escape, that there's this other place to stand that's not a place. It's just the ending of grasping. An ending of grasping can be there right with just an ordinary human life. Actually, just like ordinary life. That moment for North, with all the things that make North when he's looking at a sunset on this particular evening. The thoughts, the feelings, the body sensations, all the things. So even for you right now, just all the things that are you in this moment, just a term, you, but that are, your direct experience in this moment, just this. Is just to be alive is enough? Is that true for you in the depths of your heart? And if it's not, if it is, can you really trust that in your practice? Can you make that the North Star of your practice? If it's not, look at that. What's going on? Don't just follow it's not good enough. It's not right. I want. Don't just follow that. You can if you want, but you'll suffer. Question it. I'm not saying just sort of give up, or that the spiritual quest is not like the best thing, which I believe it is. A wonderful thing. I'm just inviting you to come into this respectful relationship with your life. And so much so that it really becomes who you are, or becomes your practice. You're really just abiding in this vow that I am here to take care of these flames of suffering, of a body and a mind. I am here. These are just words, but I am here to take care. My vow is to take care of this body and mind so thoroughly, so wholeheartedly, when you really abide in that vow, in the depths of your heart, not in words. Words can help, but not only do you find freedom from all suffering, but you also find this wonderful fuel, Buddha fuel, for extending this practice of freedom to others. From the base of freedom, extending it, which, as I spoke about last night, it's not like we make ourselves perfect and then we kind of help other people. It's more like a dynamic, moment-to-moment pivoting. Where each moment we plunge into the green dragon's cave, whether we're on retreat or not, we really are here with this conditioned, flawed person, karmic person. We plunge in, wholeheartedly take care, and this is all happening in one moment, and the suffering drops off, and all in that moment, and the vow becomes conscious to benefit beings. And then that becomes our life. Our life is that pivoting. But we get distracted from that, like our real job, which is this kind of pivoting, by not being settled down fully in any moment or in all the moments with this body and mind, the fierce flames of this body and mind. We are attached to this body and mind. So we're really trying to come to the end of that here, which is really possible, and that's what I'm trying to encourage as best I can in this whole situation here. There really is a warm beating heart to this whole Buddhist thing. So really a living transmission. an authentic transmission. Of the mind of the great sage of India. Which we receive only through our own practice. When we stand on our own 2 feet in our life, as it is, we will receive that transmission fully. That's the wonderful thing about it. So on this occasion of beginning again, beginning anew, now over 3 weeks into, or whatever the length is, into 3 months of quite intensive practice. Of course, taking care as we go, that is the practice, but in that spirit, diving in to our deepest aspiration, diving in with this intention to realize the transmission of the ancient, great sage of India, ancient but still living. I don't know, maybe you want to do something else. That's okay. But that is what I'm saying that we're doing here. So, do let me know if you're not into that. I think you probably are, but let me know. But assuming you are, and assuming you don't let me know that you're not into that, I say let's dive in wholeheartedly together. Intimate practice. Let's dive in and try to realize our life in 24/7 together on forever. Not in an idealistic way, but in a very real way. It's called realization for a reason. We make it real for us. It is really a process of becoming real. We just become real through this practice. What distorts reality is this wiggling from what is. So we're actually coming to stillness. True stillness, which is not a rigid stillness. It's not a forced stillness. It's not the stillness of self-effort and control. And it's not trying to control self-effort when that arises. It is no control. That is the Buddha mind. So, anyway. Just letting the words fall away. These conjurings and appearances drift away.